Welcome to Colney Talk Podcast.
Hey everyone, hope you're having a great weekend. You are listening to Colney Talk Podcast, a bite-size show. I'm your host, Alex. First-time guest, thank you for joining. Welcome. And to my returning listeners, glad to have you back. On this bite-size show, I talk a little bit about the Arsenal game and then pick out my top 3 Arsenal players who I think were great in the game. And one player I consider the other guy who was just poor or had a terrible game or not good enough. Yes, boys. That was an excellent win. It was a gigantic win, a validation win for this team on so many levels. I'm pretty sure there's a big lift the team takes away from this. Another clean sheet for Ramsdale. There's your reward there for those games where you should have gotten one. Minute 1 in this game, Newcastle, they just shot right into the woodwork. I mean, my heart in mouth. I don't like seeing us having this situation where we have to defend and sustain an early shot like this. It just felt like you just cut through into our box so easily. We've been doing so lately anyways. And that could have changed this game had it been a goal. A lot of defending from loose passes in the middle. Newcastle were really on this game. Very quick, fast breaks in our box. I think expectedly so, they had to really press us. We're playing on their home turf. They had a lot of energy on their backs. And that, intimidation factor in this ground. So I think for the most part, we kind of expected this. Good defending from Ben White. But just before I go on, the traveling fans, well done yourself. I mean, seriously, in one of the most intimidating grounds, as I said, in this league, this is one of them. This is one of the grounds that you go to, you just don't look like your full self. And I could hear your chants. You did yourself real good. Like, what a good way of representing the badge. Nervous play by Arsenal. Again, we were getting pressed, losing the ball, pushing us in bad situations where we got into early corner kicks, very cautious plays that we were just not very confident in finding the ways we could move out of our own half. I got rattled on that penalty call. So, so happy it was cancelled. I mean, I can't imagine you fans how you felt, but it was such a relief seeing that the right call was made, and that's how it should be. This was going to be a fight for this game. I mean, there was no way we were going to really dominate that we usually would, or rely on our, attacking prowess to really get us that forward. I mean, we will have that, but not as the usual way that we normally play. And surely that's what the team expected. A lot of tussle in the middle of the park. We got a free kick and, just trying to get ourselves into the game early on. And the sequence of passes from that free kick was laid out perfectly for Odegaard's shot to really punch it in for that first goal. It was really nice. Very timely, and, the way the ball really swift past, I think that was Dan Burns' legs. That was really good, and there was no way you can stop that. So it was a really powerful, low-driven shot. No one can stop that. And if I'm not mistaken, that was our first shot attempt and goal. It looked like an unexpected goal, which for me is awesome because it really quiets down the crowd, for a little bit. Obviously, look for Newcastle to really do something to score a goal, and they had one. They really did. Zinchenko's poor angle to intercept a pass in our box left him exposed. Like, this was an open chance. Thank goodness Martinelli was there to cover for him in time and really regain the ball. And we hadn't really cleared out that danger just yet until Ben White just punted it really far out wide out of our half. 18 minutes into the first half, this was going to be a lot of grit, intelligence, vigilance, and defense to really get a good result. This was how we had to do it. There's no way we were going to do what we normally would in terms of imposing ourselves. This was a very physical, tough team. While we know their profile, we had to understand what was expected, and that's all of these main requirements I just mentioned that we needed. From what I saw, the emphasis was to really keep a shape that would really make it not so easy to break down, and that's more again of a defensive stance. And in turn, that would really mean us working off the ball, really trying to make them try to work out their passing situations, and us really breaking that up or really having them redirect back to reset quite a few times. And we got that where some of their chances into a box. It really ended up to not creating anything. We got a free kick, and in the 19th minute, we had a free kick from a foul on Zinchenko, and we decided to play out from the back. All the way before this time, it was just a simple clear out from Ramsdale. Now, for this playing out the back, the series of passes looked like we had learned from a very heavy passing scenario which we endured in the past games. The way we played past it was it was beautiful. I mean, it was quite a good build up, and that resulted in a really really clear shot on goal. Martinelli, in another instance, could have scored. It was a good goalkeeping from, I forget his name, Newcastle's goalkeeper. That was really beautiful. And then there was another goal clearance that followed that from Odegaard. It was all about intelligent ball movement here, and so much of that was needed. I won't lie, Arsenal's time wasting between our knockdowns and battles and tussle with the ball was another cheeky way of us handling this game and really trying to minimize the pressure that it really had on us and how they tried to intensify their own impact in the game against our style of play. I was just hoping that we didn't get to suffer this time wasting somewhat, towards the tail end of the game. And we just continued on. We had another clear chance, and this was an indication that we had settled in the game. A lovely pass from Zinchenko to Saka, but we're just unable to finish it. Just quite disappointed that Saka didn't get to really score from that. It was a clear chance. Again, not an easy game. A very good, goalkeeper that we're playing against, and that was it. And just like that, Newcastle, they just had their own chance, similar to Martinelli, and this was Willock, and it was a brilliant block by Ramsdale. I mean, Willock's shot was so similar to Martinelli's shot that got blocked on the other side, so it felt like an end-to-end response on shot attempts. And Ramsdale had himself another brilliant save from a low cross. This was, I think, from Murphy crossing all the way down to Callum Wilson, and he just had to do a bit of quick thinking, either for him to really commit and sweep the ball, or wait to just close down the angle. And he was able to do a really good thing of sweeping the ball and getting us out of danger where that could have been a clear tap in somewhat. This was a dogfight, as I said, end to end on goal chances, but it wasn't like an open game. Newcastle pressed really tight to gain the ball, which they did in very dangerous areas. Not to mention, we were playing against a very, like I said, a physical team. I mean, it wasn't in our favor in any way, especially in the midfield. We continued to absorb their press, and all the way from Arsenal's box, we just tried to manage the situation. Jorginho's composure was so immense for the centre backs. The way they received the ball from him and the way he redirected pressure was really good. The team had suffered a lot with the pressing. He helped us really suppress and manage that whole intensity. We kept enduring that all through the game, but I think more importantly, the confidence and how we managed it under pressure, the way he was commanding and calling out the players, keeping them alert on several situations. That was beautiful. That was a very good marshal in the midfield. We lost the ball far too much, like we would have, especially the way that they had targeted Saka whenever he got the ball. In a few seconds, they were all red shirts trying to defend the post. So quite a lot of defensive reactions. Just that's what we had to do. This is, again, the style of play that we were prepared to do. Grit, the defendant, really trying to make sure that we fight hard for each other, cover for each other. We had our fair share of loose ball, fast breaks, but our attacking didn't look like we were there. We didn't look like we were sharp enough. I guess you can call it quite a lot of defensive attention, but not so easy to switch to attack. But it was there. We just had to take some time to get into rhythm from that standpoint. But those fast breaks gave us good chances. I mean, we had two really clear goal chances, but just couldn't shoot. And in this situation, it was Martinelli who didn't have one on a good touch on the ball, and the battle continued, and Arsenal just looked to have gotten a good rhythm and the defensive tactics to really regain the ball and counter in the middle of the field. We just didn't capitalize on it well enough to take more shots. We hadn't done much shot attempts on goal, and that was really frustrating because having that much more while we had our rhythm going would have created so much more confidence when we would strike, and those chances would have been much more in our favor to convert to goals. And knowing that we could have scored maybe one or two more to create some distance in this game, we just had it, but it was just not there. Just as I'm saying that, Ramsdale saved us on the other end, so I guess some way it evened out. We just had to go again, and we had it right there. Odegaard had it one-on-one against Nick Pope, and he just couldn't score. Oh boy, we could have been 2-0 right at the whistle of the first half. But anyway, we just continued. And then second half, another poor defensive display by Zinchenko. Newcastle moved into our box, and it was a clean header from Isaac to beat Ramsdale, but was saved again by Woodwalk. I mean, we had quite a lot of luck really showing up for us today. Then there was another save by Ramsdale. I mean, he was in full goal-saving display today. This game definitely looked like it was a display of the two top goalkeepers with the amount of saves that we had. They both had their chances. Ramsdale had to deal with a lot more, and he had to defend and save us to keep us in the game. Another incredible gameplay passing out to Arsenal's attack. Martinelli had a curled up shot that hit the bar. It was a very, the game just kept getting tighter, and the chances on both sides looked like it was open, but no, it wasn't. It was just more of how we created the chances and quickly switched into each other's box, and the physical deals just grew more. Arsenal players, they were just oftentimes needing to catch their breath, staying on the ground, or just simply getting knocked off the ball. That happened a lot. We just had to deal with that in several situations. But Big Gabby and Kivio were stuck in as well. They gave Isaac and Callum Wilson a taste of their own signature. Then it was back to a regular scheduled program of nail-biting chances. This time, Xhaka had to rescue on the final clearance to defend a shot that would have been headed into the net. We kept on defending this lead. It just was 1-0. I mean, in different situations, corner kicks, free kicks. I don't remember a game where Arsenal players suffered physically and mentally in this game. It was just so much. Xhaka, Jesus, they were knocked down several times. It took a toll on Xhaka so much in this game. I mean, but they managed to hang in there. Everyone played for each other. There was no nerves or retreats from the players when they were on the ball. It was fighting back, covering for everyone. Clearly, we had the advantage in the midfield, controlling Newcastle's chances to attack. In turn, they gave us a chance on goal, and we worked really hard. We kept pushing, and we got another goal. It was Martinelli's shot that led to an own goal. I mean, I liked it. I mean, I'll take it. Martinelli was really driving, just doing his... He just was relentless, and that was the outcome. And we were glad that we got that second goal. This was a confirmation goal to me because everyone on the field, they were on their last gear. I mean, tired legs. This was so physical. That was such an important moment to improve the chances of winning because it was 20 minutes to the final whistle, and having that goal then, I mean, the players really felt they had that little gap to really maintain the lead and hold on to it. And it was a call to the players to find a defensive stance, make necessary substitutions, and really rely on the experienced players to manage the game. In terms of defending, Tierney, when he got substituted in, his presence was very beneficial. He was so quick to break down, to close down any threats, and he was helping keep the ball in front, especially towards Newcastle's half. I mean, we had so much more tired legs, and the way Tierney was there defending, closing down in different positions, it really helped a lot, and he nullified a lot of situations that we had to deal with. As the minutes were winding down, Newcastle started to make their final push because they made their own subs, and it was to have more attack to make something happen. And they kept pushing and trying to create something, and Arsenal players were just ready to dig in. I mean, no choice but to do so. And the attack came raining in. Close chances, but not enough to cause a scare. Ramsdale was alive. He was eating up all the crosses, and it was just physical. And the players threw their bodies, covered for each other. Through it all, we had quite a bit of luck with us and quick thinking, all combined. It was such a delightful trip for the fans and the players when it was final whistle. Just a rewarding victory. I'm glad that the fans and the players were able to just enjoy such a meaningful win. So on to my top 3 performers. First on the list, Odegaard. He played so hard and tough. He couldn't finish the game. He ran his legs down. So tired. Wonderful shot for the first goal. He had that other chance to score a second just at the whistle in the first half. But against a top keeper, it's not an easy one, and maybe we'll live for another day. He affected the attack really well and helped the team press hard, well in the midfield to have so many counterattacks. And with that, he just helped give the team several chances when he laid it off to Saka and laid it off to Martinelli. He did a lot there to really make things happen. Quite a good game for him. Second on the list, Jorginho. He was the captain in the midfield. It was the same calmness that I got from him like I would get knowing Saliba was in defending. Just that calming effect and the way to sort of resist the press and the pressure to lose the ball and sort of fall into some sort of counter-attack measure that Newcastle really were ready for early in the game. He constantly aligned the team defensively in good positions to escape all the formations, the tactics that Newcastle had come up with. This was a game that required high level of intelligence and patience. He did that to perfection. A few moments he got caught out, I won't lie, but because of his lack of speed and inability to really do something in those moments and close down those open situations, we got lucky. We had the other defenders close out and cover for him, but I didn't see too many of that to really unravel the defense. That was very key. So it's a plus and a very great game for him. My third and final player, Ramsdale. He dove around, he swept, he punched out all the shots that came his way. The defending was so much better working with him. We got caught out a number of times, but he alone kept us in this game. Spectacular saves throughout this game. He had so much chances that he cleared out more than Pope. That and the win and the clean sheet was so deserving for him. I enjoyed watching the way he played today. Many neutrals that watch this will surely validate his brilliance as a top goalkeeper really well. Now, my other player today, Zinchenko. Another defensive struggle that we had to suffer again. We got caught out a number of times. We could have lost the game. We really could have. Newcastle really would have scored goals from his sloppy situations. I mean, I don't know how we can cover for this problem, but it's really becoming more evident. It sounds very clear that's going to be the, first weakest point that they're going to be attacking Arsenal for for the remaining of the game. I wonder what kind of formation we're going to be playing or game plan that we're going to have to create to help reduce this vulnerability, because it's getting more evident. We can see it. People can take chances on that. Does Xhaka have to come back to cover for him more than he has done in the past? It's a tough one to answer, and it's not for me to do, but I'm not going to turn this into a negative pod or just focus on that. It's to really look at the positives in every possible way. I'm really glad we won this game, one of the toughest ones, especially in St. James Park. I was really nervous, I'm not going to lie. Big 3 points, and we keep matching on. Odegaard, Jorginho, and Ramsdale make my top 3, and Zinchenko my other guy. There is so much to be happy with this team and to hope for the rest of this campaign. Enjoy the win, folks, and with that, I'll leave it here for now. Talk to you later. Take care.